Okay, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this. Starbucks employee breaks down in tears after being scheduled to work 8 hours. Many on social media cannot help but sympathize with this young man, who literally cries on camera after he's scheduled for an 8 hour shift on a weekend. However, there are a few who actually think that the person in the video should not be crying, instead, working hard like all the other people who are striving hard. Social media users can't help but sympathize with the Starbucks employee. A Starbucks barista shared a video of themselves crying on camera because of their hectic working hours. The clip shows the employees sharing their thoughts on management and rude customers, but it was what the person said about their schedule that prompted the reaction online. The barista, who is also a student, said that a 25-hour work week and 8 hour shifts during the weekend were too much for them to handle. In the video shared on Twitter by far-right Trump supporter Sebastian Gorka they said, "I'm a full-time student. I get scheduled for 25 hours a week. And then on weekends, they scheduled me the entire day, open to close. That's that one's scheduled for 8.5 hours, both Saturday and Sunday."
People wonder why we need a union at Starbucks, and I am literally about to quit. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but like I really want to. I almost walked out today, and I'm crying in the back room right now, and I almost cried on the floor. It's just I'm like a full-time student. I get scheduled for 25 hours a week, and then on weekends they schedule me the entire day, open to close. I'm on the schedule for 8.5 hours, both Saturday and Sunday. I'm like 3.5 hours into my shift. There's so many customers, and we have 4 people on the floor all day.
Okay, that's not working anymore. I'm 3.5 hours into my shift. There's so many customers, and we have 4 people on the floor all day. Only 5 people are put on schedule, and somebody had to call out. They went on to say the managers don't care about us and don't want to help us, claiming that their manager had taken himself off the shift because he didn't want to come in. Wow, you are so brave for bullying a young service worker. A full-time college student is expected to do 2 to 3 hours of homework. I don't know what the rest of that says. So if this kiddo is in class 15 hours a week and 30 hours of homework, I couldn't read the rest, it was cut off. The barista started, the barista stated that customers were being rude and misgendering them, and finished by saying, "I don't get accommodations for being." Oh, what the fuck? Neurodivergent. People get mad at me for having too much sick time. I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm at my wit's end with this job. People wonder why we need a union at Starbucks. I am literally about to quit. I'm crying in the back room right now. Getting an education in the US is very expensive, and most students get part time jobs during their time at university to support themselves. Many had sympathy for the worker, with one person pointing out that on top of uni work, the student would end up with 70 hours per week. Another said, he's crying about being understaffed and working two weekend days in a row, with a manager taking no responsibility for the understaffing and not working with them on the floor. Common practice in coffee shops. One might see it as being exploitation to a degree. This is why everyone hates the older generation, because y'all will say you want the best for our generations, and then when we want it to be better, y'all whine about how you had it worse and essentially say we deserve the same. I will never understand why you wouldn't want better. Okay, first of all, the manager did take care of the problem. He got someone else to do the shift. Now, I don't know if the manager asked other people. If this kid was having a problem, okay, ask the other people. If everyone said no, this is just me saying it. There are other ways to do it. Flip a coin, pull a name out of a hat or something. As a manager, you're supposed to delegate the work. If the manager doesn't want to work and he has the right not to work, that's his right. This kid can't handle the job as it is. He shouldn't be working there. True, people should not be rude to him. No, no, no. But if you can't handle the job, no one's going to coddle you and make it so easy for you to work that it's just how you want it. That's not how the world works. Misgendering, people get misgendered a lot, and nowadays it's like cut off their heads if they do it. So fuck you and the misgendering. If it's a simple mistake, ha 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 ha, go home and bitch about it later. And as for this one who said something about, I don't even know where it is right now, the older generation wanting better, yeah. What's better? Coddling? If it was in the contract this kid signed that he only works a certain amount of hours a week, yeah, then there's a problem. But if there's nothing in the contract, if he's required to work, he works. And if he doesn't want to, he's subject to being fired. And then the manager will have to call someone else to come in. And if someone else doesn't come in, he may have to take over that shift himself. This is how things work. So many people, never mind yesterday, older people, so many people today have 2 or 3 jobs during the week while going to school, night school, whatever. If you can't handle the job, quit. Quit. It's too frustrating for you to deal with. Quit. Something about Neurodivergent. I don't know what that is. I'm going to look it up. The term neurodivergent describes people whose brain differences affect how the brain works. That means they have different strengths and challenges from people whose brains don't have those differences. The possible differences include medical disorders, learning disabilities, and other conditions. Okay, so this is not a made up thing, it's a real thing. If you've got those kind of problems, you should not have a job like this. It would be too much on you, too demanding. You can't sue. You chose this job. And considering you're young, you've probably been in a number of Starbucks. Just for the fact I know in my neighborhood, the last time I went through it, on one block there was like four Starbucks. You have four Starbucks on one block. There's a big demand. He can't handle this. And it shouldn't be, well, just because there's something wrong with him doesn't mean he can do it. That he can't do it. Okay, let's see if we can watch this over.
People wonder why we need a union at Starbucks, and I
Nothing to do with a union.
am literally about to quit. Like I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but like I really want to. I almost walked out.
Do you hear him? He is mentally and physically unable to do this. He's sitting on the floor in the back room crying because it's too much for him. A boss's job is not to make it easier on the employees. The employees' jobs are to follow orders and provide customer service. Yeah, customers are rude. But there are different levels of rudeness, and if they are just way, way, way too rude, you got to call the cops or something. Like I said, the misgendering. Nowadays, you misgender someone, they could physically attack you. I've seen videos. Now, if they're making fun of you, you try your best to do your job. If it gets to be too much, you call the fucking police. That's all you can do. Maybe the store can ban the person, but as we've seen before, there are a lot of people who don't care about being banned from somewhere. They'll go wherever they want to go. They'll go, they'll do what they want, say what they want, mess up the place if they want because they feel entitled. This is another person that feels entitled. But there is one small difference, and actually it's a big difference. He mentally cannot do this. Starbucks, even the Starbucks company, is not going to turn around and make things easier just for him. I understand he probably needs the job. He needs to try to get another job. I also understand there aren't a whole lot of jobs out there, especially now with the riots that happened. That took a whole shitload of jobs away. But he has something mentally wrong with him. Let him go for SSI. I don't know where this happened, but let him go for that. He's got to get money, and he can't work at a job like this. A lot of jobs are like this because so many people feel entitled nowadays. They walk in, and the people behind the counter are their servants. See, a lot of people like to talk about slavery, the oppressed, the people, black, white, or whatever, walk into a restaurant or whatever. They talk however they want to the people who work there because they just work there. They're nothing. It happens everywhere. If you can't handle it, you can't be there. You have to think about your own health and your own sanity. Not boo hoo hoo. People help me. Stop mean old Starbucks. They're not going to listen. They're a corporation. Your manager has a job to do. He did it. You now have a job to do, or you don't do it and you risk being fired, or you just up and quit. That's it. They're not going to provide you with a bed to go lay down in the back and all this other shit. No, that's not their job. You have this medical condition. You should know what your limitations are. And if you don't and you find out, you have to take care of you. I don't know. I just don't think this is Starbucks' fault or responsibility. Not even the managers.